Today, we're going to look at what's not making the news. We're diving into something called the architecture of silence. Basically, the hidden reasons why some of the world's biggest threats are unfolding almost completely off the radar, and what that really means for all of us.
This line from a recent risk report just cuts right to the chase. It's suggesting that it's not about the monsters we can see, it's about the ones we're choosing not to look at. Our focus is being pulled in one direction, leaving us totally blind to other problems that are just quietly building up steam in the background.
And that's the big question, right? What is actually going on out there in the shadows? We're going to take a journey into these global blind spots to really get a handle on the risks that are shaping our future, even when we can't see them on our screens. So, let's get into it.
Okay, so we're going to start with 3 stories that, on the surface, seem to have nothing to do with each other. We've got a remote volcano, a truly devastating flood, and a deadly virus. They seem totally disconnected, but trust me, they are all pieces of a much, much bigger puzzle.
Our first stop is Fernandina Island in the Galapagos. We're talking about a completely uninhabited UNESCO World Heritage Site. Super remote. But out here, far from pretty much everything, the La Cumbre volcano is waking up in a big way. And this isn't just some minor rumbling. Scientists are seeing the magma system pressurize so fast that it could be signaling a really massive eruption.
Now you might be thinking, volcanoes erupt, what's the big deal? Well, this is not business as usual. As you can see from this table, it just erupted about 18 months ago, but what's happening now is totally different. The trigger isn't some slow, gradual increase. It's a sharp magnitude 4.3 earthquake. The location is shifted, and all of this points to a much bigger risk. We're not just talking about lava flows anymore. The real worry here is a potential caldera collapse, an event that would be absolutely catastrophic for the entire island ecosystem.
All right, let's pivot from fire to water. For our next crisis, we're heading to Central Africa, where a massive, and I mean massive, underreported flood is just hammering the Congo Basin, and it's hitting the capital cities of 2 different countries at the exact same time. This right here perfectly illustrates that architecture of silence. On one side of the river in Kinshasa, the tragedy gets a tiny bit of news coverage. But right across the water in Brazzaville, a disaster that's arguably even more acute unfolds in almost total silence. I mean, think about it. Nearly 23,000 people lost their homes in just 2 days, and the world barely blinked. The key thing to realize here is that this isn't about the severity of the crisis, it's all about its visibility. And that brings us to our third crisis, and honestly, it's the deadliest of the 3. While the Earth is shaking and the rivers are rising, a biological threat of the absolute highest order has just emerged in the Horn of Africa: Marburg virus. Think of it as Ebola's lesser-known, but terrifyingly lethal cousin.
Just look at this timeline. It shows you exactly how quickly a nightmare scenario can become reality. Ethiopia has never, ever had a Marburg outbreak before. The virus just appears, and in about 2 weeks you have 6 confirmed cases and 6 deaths. That's a 100% fatality rate among that confirmed group. Even more worrying, 2 of the victims were healthcare workers, which is a classic, terrifying sign that containment has already failed and the clinics themselves are becoming places of transmission.
So, okay, we have a volcano, a flood, and a virus. They feel completely random, don't they? But they're not. They are all symptoms, warning signs of the same underlying global failures. So let's start pulling on the threads that connect them.
And here they are. These are the threads. It all boils down to 3 big drivers. First, a massive retreat in international funding. Second, the breakdown of our global disease surveillance systems that results from that. And third, a quiet but steady erosion of democracy all around the world. These 3 things are creating the perfect storm for these silent crises to just grow and fester.
This chart shows that first driver in stark terms: financial abandonment. We're not just seeing a dip here, we are witnessing a catastrophic collapse in public humanitarian aid. It's dropped by as much as 45% in a single year. That's not a dip, that is a free fall, and it has a very specific trigger.
And this is it. This one number is what kicks off the whole cascade, a $12 billion cut in foreign aid by the United States. It's part of a bigger political shift, of course, but that single budget decision sends shockwaves through the entire global safety net. It basically pulls the rug out from under countless health and aid programs all over the world.
And this is the direct result. The money disappears, and the local health organizations, the ones who are our eyes and ears on the ground, they just have to shut their doors. This creates what the experts call a surveillance blind spot.
It's the reason an outbreak like Marburg can pop up and spread for way longer before anyone even knows it's there, which makes it infinitely harder to stop. This silence isn't an accident. It's a direct consequence of defunding.
Now that third driver, democratic erosion, is just as quiet, but just as damaging. Let's take Kyrgyzstan. For years, people called it an island of democracy in Central Asia. But look at what's been happening. The government uses a familiar playbook, claim there's a coup plot to justify arresting your opponents, and then pass new laws to shut down any independent media or NGOs. Step by step, they've silenced dissent and pretty much ended a democratic experiment. And just like our other crises, it's all happening far from the world's attention.
So, what's the ultimate price we pay for all this silence? It isn't just that bad things happen. It's that these separate, ignored crises, they start to merge. They feed off each other, creating what some are calling a polycrisis, a situation where our ability to respond to any one threat is dangerously weakened by all the others.
So here's the crucial point. The volcano, the flood, the virus, the political crackdown, they're all alarms. They're all warning signs telling us that the global system is losing its resilience, its basic ability to handle shocks. This architecture of silence isn't just about ignoring problems, it's actively dismantling our ability to solve them. And that leaves us with one critical and frankly pretty unsettling question. How much resilience do we really have left?